Everything that you see in Melancholia is real. Of course, it's a combination of existing elements, sometimes manipulated quite a bit. The constellations are real. All the physics behind how the planet moves around the Earth, the way that they become short of breath. Power outage, the failure of batteries in cars, all that is based on some real science.
Well, my function in the making of this film, it started when Lars von Trier, he visited me at the planetarium. He wanted to discuss the overall framework of the film. Could something like this happen? Well, for me as an astrophysicist, it was very interesting to see this. We often discuss what kind of disasters, cosmic disasters, can happen to Earth. And it really made me think about how would I react if I really got this knowledge that now we are definitely going to be hit by something massive. The probability that a rogue planet should hit Earth is very, very, very small, but it is still possible. It is possible that a planet gets thrown out of its system, it travels through space, through the Milky Way, and then enters our solar system. So the possibility is there, even though it's very, very small. Well, since 1995, we have been discovering planets that orbit other stars than the Sun. Before that, we didn't know if they existed, but now we have found more than 500 of them, and we are almost on a daily basis finding new of them. And yes, many large gas planets like Melancholia exist out there. If a planet would be entering the solar system, it would depend strongly on where it enters, how big it is, what kind of planet it is, to give us time in advance to discover it. If it is a large planet, we should have good chances of discovering many years before it enters the solar system. But if it enters on a path where it comes from behind the Sun, then it could be very difficult to spot it until very few years before it enters the solar system. A giant planet like Melancholia would typically have a fairly strong magnetic field, so it would affect our magnetic field, and it would also affect the power supply here on Earth, probably. There have been many different kinds of investigations in order to find out whether celestial bodies they affect us here on Earth, especially during full moon. The full moon has been ascribed a lot of different effects, but all the statistics say that there's no effect whatsoever.
There it is. There's your flyby.
There's no correlation, no combination of effects that you can say suicide, childbirth, whatever, with the moon or other celestial bodies. So it's something that creates in our heads. It is something that we want to be. So if something happens that we find odd or out of the normal, and it's full moon, then we ascribe it to the full moon. Otherwise, we don't. Science is not about the truth. I mean, science cannot give us the absolute truth about the world we are living in. Science can tell us about the most probable way of looking at the world. We have some knowledge now, but we're getting smarter all the time, so our picture, our understanding of the world changes. The problem is that we cannot prove it, but we can find evidence as how the world is functioning. And since evidence is only part of the answer, we can never be 100% sure of anything. So things can change, things can fall out in a different way than we expect. So science is not the absolute answer, and everybody should keep that in mind.